Welcome. My name's Katarina. I'm a Canadian fine artist, and I'm going to show you how I make my canvases from 2x4s. First step, I just need to go get some wood. So let's head out to Home Depot.
But I can pretend the sun is gone, but I have a light. The day is done, but I'm having fun. I think I'm done, maybe just happy. I think I'm just happy. I think I'm just happy. I'm just happy. My heart is broke, but I have some glue. Help me inhale, come into with you. We'll float around, hang out on clouds, and then we'll come down and have a hangover. Have a fall asleep, wishing away my soul is cheap. Lesson learned, wish me luck. Sit and wake me up. I'm not like them, but I can pretend. The sun is gone, but I have a light. The day is done, but I'm having fun. I think I'm done, maybe just happy.
First things first, I'm just going to unplug the circular saw. And what we're doing next is just switching the blade so it's a 45-degree angle. And that's really simple. We just pull this tab here. I'll give you a close-up. Okay, so this here is a tab where you can change all the angles. You just have to lift this up and then shift up this plate here and it'll change the angle of the whole blade. We want it at a 45-degree angle. That way we can have those beveled corners or sides, I guess. I'm gonna plug it back in, and since I don't really need to mark this off, I'm not gonna mark off anything here, but what I'm doing is I'm leaving about half an inch flat. So I'm gonna start the cut about half an inch in. That's where the canvas is gonna rest, and that's where I'm gonna sand down with router or just sandpaper and make it smooth. It'll make sense when you see it. It should look like this, where you can just literally take it right off. And once you remove that, you get that 45-degree angle that we're looking for. So I am absolutely covered in sawdust, but we're done with the circular saw. I'm gonna be moving on to the miter box, cutting them into 32 inches with that diagonal so that we can join them together in a square. But that shouldn't take too long. It should only be about half hour or so, maybe a little bit longer, and then we can join them all together, sand off the harsh edges either with a router or just a hand block, and then we can wrap the canvas. We'll see. It's fucking hot out. I'm like so sweaty and covered in sawdust. It's just, I chose a day to do this. That's okay, I'm enjoying it. Moving on, let's get this done. So this one's gonna be cut this way on this angle. So I'm gonna line the 32-inch mark with this bottom line. We have 4 corners all set. I'm so sweaty. I have to get ready for work, and when I come back, I will put them together at the cross beams and hopefully stretch the canvas. I'm home from work now. It's still like 30 degrees out, which is insane. I'm like gross and sticky, but we're still just finishing this off. We're almost done. I just have to add the cross braces and then glue it all together. This is the easy part. It's not that much sweating. It's not that hard. It's just literally gluing them all together and then clamping them, letting it dry, and then wrapping the canvas. Fingers crossed it all goes well. For the cross braces, you have to measure the interior of the actual canvas. So it's not going to be the 32 inches. It's not going to be the same as the stretcher bars. It's going to be smaller because you have to take into account how thick the stretcher bars are. So here it was just over 29 inches for me. So as that dries, I'm just going to be carving out the center parts of the cross braces. That way they can kind of fall on top of each other and create a nice X and not have an overlay. And test. Perfect. Fit in nicely. And here we have it, the finished canvas. I have sanded it down. I ended up cutting too much here, which is fine. It doesn't really matter, that's gonna be hidden. But I just rounded off these edges so it's nice and smooth and there's no harsh lines. Now I'm just gonna stretch this painting that I did a while ago. It's just been rolled up in my studio for the longest time. So I finally can give it some life. So I'm starting off with just one side, not pulling it too tight. I can do a few, up to 3 staples. Just like so. You want them about a few inches apart, basically, depending on the size of your canvas. For 32 by 32, this is pretty standard and pretty good spacing. So to stretch it tight, I am going to use pliers, these things. You don't need to. When you're using big ones or when you're stretching big canvases, it's a lot easier to get it as tight as you need it. For something that's 32 by 32, it's just a convenience at this point. But you always want to start in the middle. That way you can get the tension right. There we go. And you can see that stretch in the middle there. That means it's tight enough. So again, I'm just going to do 3. Just like so. Spacing's the same as the other side. And now we have to move on to the sides. So you're always doing cross from each other. That way, again, you can kind of work out the tension properly. Feeler hates the noise. I feel bad for him. There he goes. Okay, now for the tricky part. I'm gonna show you how to fold the corners properly. There is a little bit of a technique to it, and it can get a little bit complicated, so you have to make sure you do it properly. You really just want to pay attention to where you're folding, where all the folds are, and which direction you are making the folds on. So for me, the fold is going to go inward like this on the side. So I'm going to be folding all the corners on the sides. I just have to make sure I'm doing that and keep an eye while I'm doing them. I did end up taking the tape off the side here, just so I can get that really tight fold and not have to worry about trying to take the tape off after. On the side that I'm not folding over like this or making the fold on, I stapled all the way up so it's tight. Now this here is the side that I'm making the fold on. So I'm going to make it secure. So staple it again. And basically, there we go. We just want to make sure it goes all the way down to the bottom. So what I did is I pulled up on this side, just pulled it tight, and then pushed down on the side like that, and then grabbed this fabric here, this side, and just pulled it as tight as possible. And that made an even line and little to no folding there. I had a few staples so it lays flat. And with that, we are done. We have our fully stretched canvas on our homemade gallery stretcher bars from 2x4s. That's a mouthful. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you were able to follow along or just enjoy the video. It was fun to make, and I'm glad you were able to tag along with me. And this whole video was really me procrastinating. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for helping me procrastinate. I have a studio vlog coming up next week or the week after, and I am preparing for a solo show in July. So there's a lot of painting and a lot going on. So subscribe, like, and I will see you next time.